Hi guys, welcome to my solar energy off-grid utilization, real-time utilization. I am planning to decommission this particular chat controller, and just before I go ahead, today is the 15th of April 2022, and I just want to give you real-time update in regards to what is going on here right now. Here I've got a new MPPT chat controller. Not sure if it has a brand. I think something like Solar Fan. Yeah, Solar Fans. Just right on the side there. I'm not sure if this can capture it properly. Solar Fans. And I'm just trying to upgrade this because I noticed that this cannot, seems like it cannot go more than 40 amps. And I need something more powerful and more, so I just want, because this one has watt meter. That means what I'm trying to say here is the energy meter, in the sense that I can track on a daily basis how much solar energy that was generated versus the total that has been generated by this chat controller. Unlike this one, it just gives me real-time usage in terms of the amount of amps coming through and the amount of it doesn't give wattage, but it tells me the voltage of the battery and the voltage of from the solar panel. Now, one thing I like so much is the fact that I like to be able, I like visibility. I like to be able to see what is happening rather than me using my multimeter to test everything. So hence why you can see this type of design where I have energy meter or watt meter everywhere to tell me exactly what is happening. I know when voltage is coming through, I know when it is not coming in, and I'm able to easily diagnose. And even I have a small camera here that I can use to view what is really happening remotely. Right now, most of the systems that I have, they are not connected to the internet. I don't want to go on the internet, you know, with all this hacking going on, and you know, so I would rather prefer to have it a bit manual or offline. So I have another camera here that I will use this camera to see exactly what is happening. It's a full HD camera, so I can see exactly what is happening on my distribution board right here. So a quick one, that's my automatic transfer switch again. Let's see if this is clear enough, and I've got 26.4 volts. As you can see, this is coming from the inverter when it switches to the national grid, and you see this blinking from this side, but right now it's on the right hand side. Now let's look at what is coming in from each of the array. I've got 3 arrays. If you've been following this series, I've got 1070 watt solar panel here. On this particular one, before I used to have 4 of them, 1.6 kilowatt, but I removed one of them and I added it to this setup, and now I'm having 1.2 kilowatt here and also 1.2 kilowatt here. You can see the cable is now coming to this. This is a temporary location for this. I've got another one which is exactly the type of this one. I'm going to be putting it up. I just want to put them into a test to see how their performance work. The only thing that I do not agree so much with this one is the fact that the amount of amps that is coming in, if you look on the top left corner there, it says 14.9, approximately 15, but when you come here you'll be seeing 19.6. so I don't know where that is getting its figure from. Now if you look at the real-time wattage that is coming through, this one says 533.7, but this is telling me 601. So there's a bit of, you know, disparity there. I don't know why that is. And for this one that I just bought, let's look at the real-time current that is coming through. It says 19.2 roughly. Let's take a look at this one here, and you can see it here. It says 25. So look at it from 19 to 25 on this side. So there's something, I don't know where this chat controller is getting its own current from. So everything comes from the solar panel and it comes through this before it goes into the chat controller. Another thing that I want to share with you guys is this. Now, this is my energy meter for the off-grid system. So as you can see on this side here, everything is coming from the inverter, which means this is passing through this energy meter. And let's look at what I'm doing in real time. That is 229 volts. This is 231 volts. I think this is more in real time than in this one, but you can see they're kind of equal. And let's look at the current amp that I'm pulling, 3.64. This is just telling me the real-time amps. That is, as you can see, this is more in real time, this is a bit in delayed mode, so I do agree with both of them. And this is how much wattage I'm pulling right now. So what I want to share with you in this particular video is, in order to make use of this amount of wattage, which is around 600 watts, how much current is coming out from the battery bank. And that is something I really want to share with you today. I've got my clamp meter here. I'm going to twist it around and put it on 200 amps. As you can see, it's going to roll down to 0.1, and I'm going to clamp it around the positive terminal of the battery. And as you can see, that is like 40 amps. About 40 amps that is coming from the battery right now into the charge controller, just to produce 3.6 amps AC and 600 watts, approximately 600 watts of AC energy. So as you can see, it pulls out a lot of current. And don't forget that on a standby, this is a low frequency inverter. On a standby, let's say there is no power, it's not supplying any power, just on a standby, you just turn it on and it's just running, the fan running and all of that. The inverter itself uses 2.6 amps just on a standby. So that can also be deducted from this figure we are looking at here. Now what I want to try to do is just to increase the amount of load on this inverter. I've got a small heater here. This is a 200 watt heater. Let's connect this to power. And I'm going to turn this on. And let's see what we've got now. So from the battery, we're now pulling roughly 50 amps coming out from the battery right away. And let's look at what we've got here in real time. Move to the next phase, 227 volts, 4.3 amps, 815 watts. That is what is this 50 amps is. That is what this inverter is inverting. That means the inverter is inverting 50 amps in order to produce about 850 watts of energy, AC energy. Let's go back to that. So that's the amps, AC amps, and the AC wattage. And we're utilizing roughly 50 amps from the battery, including the one that the inverter is using on its own standby just to run. So what normally happens is this: what you would need to do is to convert or to multiply this by 24 volt, because I'm using a 24 volt battery bank. So you multiply that by 24 and that will give you how much energy that you're probably using in terms of AC. Now just to let you know, that will be quite higher than what we currently have here, because if you multiply 50 times 24, that will give you higher wattage. But one thing you need to understand is the fact that the inverter will store some current as a reserve should in case any of the appliances connected is fluctuating or giving out some intermittent surge that is going to require more power. And also it will reserve some current that is going to be used should in case you plug in additional appliance. So instead of it just going to the battery in real time to pull that in, the energy required or the current required, what it's just going to do is to take the reserve from the capacitor inside this inverter. So that is just a brief introduction or information I want to share with you guys in regards to the utilization of the battery bank and how much energy the inverter is inverting to produce 240 volts of AC current and whatever amperage and energy in terms of watts that is being utilized in your home. So this is the heater that I just put on. That's about 200 watts, as you can see if I can on the label there. It's a small one, nothing strong, it's just for personal use basically. And I'm just gonna turn off the things I don't need right now. Just a quick one look at the amount of amps coming through on this side right now and the amount of wattage that is being produced. So on the top left corner there, that is the current amps that is coming from the solar panel. On the bottom right corner where you see 520 something, that tells you how much energy is being produced. That is wattage produced from the solar panel, and that is 1.2 kilowatts solar panel connected to this charge controller. Now on this side, let's take a look at what we've got for this charge controller. If you look on the top left corner there, that is about 14 amps being generated. That is 1070 watt solar panel. Each of them is 535, and on the bottom right corner, that is where you see how much wattage that is being produced. On the top right corner, that is where you see the voltage of the solar panel at the moment. And on the bottom left corner there, right here, it will give you some additional information, but what you want to see here is the peak wattage that has been reached by the solar panel and how much amp hour has been generated today and how much watt hour has been generated today. This charge controller also comes with its own watt meter, and this tells you on the bottom right corner here, it tells you the total wattage since I installed this charge controller. And on the bottom left there, it tells you on a daily basis, because you need to set the time when you're setting up this particular charge controller. And as you can see, it's telling me so far today I've generated around, let's say, 1.1 kilowatt hour of energy. The same thing today is, I don't need to explain, it's self-explanatory. If you've gone through the first two modules that I covered, it's all the same. On the top left corner you see the amps, on the bottom right corner you see the current wattage coming through. On the bottom left corner there you see the total amp hour generated today and total watt hour generated. It will also tell you the maximum peak that has been reached by the solar panel here today. And so this is the exact charge controller in its temporary position, and I'm just testing it out. I'll be replacing it with another one of this one, and I just want to compare both of them and see how they're performing basically. So this is the interface for these solar fans, and I hope this particular session is a bit more informative probably than the others. I'm still going to be doing a lot of breakdown in regards to the entire thing that is happening on my distribution board. My battery bank is about 26 kilowatt hour. I'm using a mixed battery, not just from one particular company, because the battery is quite expensive. It will always be the most expensive part of your setup, so I had to get them from different places. I'm going to be sharing that bank with you later on, and you can see how I mix different batteries together, but the minimum of them is 220 amp hour battery bank, and some of them are actually used and some of them are brand new. But in terms of, after testing the internal resistance and the state of charge, state of health, and all those information, I'm able to match them together because they were good batteries when I bought them. Thank you guys. Cheers.